In this video, I want to optimize the blueprints that are part of the Chroma Unreal plugin sample. If I go to the animation level and open the level blueprint. Okay, so in here, I had a lot of blueprint code to set up the buttons. And the buttons that are being set up are a blueprint widget. It looks like this. So basically for each button, you have to add a click event. So each button is invoking one of these blueprint functions. And I've added a new blueprint function to help set up these widgets so that the blueprint code looks a little cleaner. Alright, so let's go plug in this helper method into the blueprints to help set up these buttons a little cleaner. Alright, so back in the blueprints, there's all this code, and this can be simplified now with sample setup buttons. Okay, and it just takes an array of buttons now. So I need to make an array. Okay, maybe make the array first. Set up the buttons. Okay, so what do we put into the array? Okay, so in making the array, I need a few pins for each widget. Okay, and the widgets that we're going to use are right here. So basically we're replacing getting the widget, adding an onClick event, setting up this event delegate, which calls our blueprint function. And I want to be able to do all these and the setup for these all in one step. That way it's easier to look at. So I'm going to take this widget and this target and just route this to the array. There we go. And then once the array is completed, it goes into the setup function. And when we do that, we no longer need to explicitly call this function because it's inside of our code now. And I don't need to bind the click event because that's what the setup function is doing. And then I just connect this here and something closer to okay. I can just take these and stack them. Okay, there we go. And these have to connect here. One more pin. And compile. Okay, there we go. So now all these widgets are just put into an array, and then we have this nice method here that does the setup for us. And if we look at the script, this setup helper just takes an array of buttons, and in the code, it just loops through those buttons. It gets a reference to the button, adds it to the root so that it doesn't get garbage collected, and grabs the name of the button. And all these buttons are being assigned a delegate that handles the click. And because we stored the name in this function, we can check the name and do something, which simplifies the code. If we look at the sample button code, the handle click event is just checking for the name of the button, and then it calls the blueprint function. And this is just handier. We can do this in code instead of explicitly doing this in the verbose blueprint syntax. It was just verbose. I'll leave it at that. We went from something like this down to something like this. So let's do it again. All right, and that really cleans up our blueprints. So we've got the helper function, just passing the buttons to an array that sets up all the delegates and calls the right functions. And it's really just clean to look at. See the one exception, which is the UI slider controls, which actually needs a little bit of blueprints to make everything work. All right, and let's see if it's all connected right. So if I hit play, yep. Check. Mouse. Cool. All right, yeah, so all the buttons are hooked up. And that's how you simplify your blueprints. Thanks for watching.